following program is an exclusive Disruption Networks production.
Disruption Network and First Source Federal Credit Union have teamed up to help support the Central New York Veterans Outreach Center, Sunday, April 28th from noon till 4 p.m. Located at the Veterans Outreach Center, 726 Washington Street in Utica. There will be food, live entertainment, raffles, live podcasting from the D, and an appearance by Audie from the Utica Commons. We are looking for donations of clothes, non-perishable food items, furniture, toiletries, hygiene products, or a minimal cash donation of $5 at the door day of event. All ages are welcome. For more information on donation, drop-off locations, and entertainment lineup, please check out DisruptionNetwork.net. Disrupting Hunger, Sunday, April 28th, brought to you by First Source Federal Credit Union.
Tax season is here, and First Source wants to help you be prepared. Our friends at Furley, Moran, Freer, and ESA have given us some great tax tips to share. Read the blog at fsource.org for helpful answers to your tax questions and feel better prepared before you file. First Source members can also receive a discount on TurboTax software. Be ready for tax season with help from your friends. File smarter, live smarter with First Source. Membership requirements apply. Federally insured by NCUA.
The Baseline is back with all new episodes every Sunday night at 8 p.m. right here on Disruption Network. The complete rundown of news and notes around Major League Baseball. Get caught up with fantasy rankings, predictions, league leaders, standings, and more. Join JP and SPG as they bring you original segments like 3 Up, 3 Down, the Haps on the Haps, Tip of the Cap, and the Field Report.
Don't find yourself out of the Baseline.
Join the Baseline every Sunday night, all season long, only on the D.
Hey, it's Cassidy, and you're listening to Disruption Network.
So you just bought your dream home, and now it's time to move. Let's face it, nobody likes to move. All the packing, unpacking, lifting, upstairs, downstairs, and broken everything, including your back. Let the professionals at EJA Moving Company take all the stress and pain out of your move. Competitively priced moving, relocation services, office moves, and complete packing and unpacking services. They work with everybody to make it simple and easy for you to move and relocate. Call EJA Moving Company at 315-335-0516. When it's time to relocate, have EJA Moving do all the work for you. Hit them up online, ejamoving.com.
Hey, Disruption Network. This is Mike Sacco, the general manager at Nye Volkswagen of Rome. If you don't know me by name, it's only because you have not received the best deal. There's only one reason to leave Utica, and that's to come see me in Rome and get the best deal on your next new, pre-owned, or certified VW. Mention that you heard this ad from Disruption Network and receive $250 off your next vehicle purchase. You'll know why our customers say, I love my Nye VW. Come see us at 5865 Rome Taberg Road in Rome, or visit us online at nyvwofrome.com.
The Property Sisters of the Mohawk Valley was born when 3 top producing agents with over 25 years of combined experience selling real estate joined forces to take real estate to the next level. We practice with honesty, integrity, and the knowledge to help make the buying and selling process easy and stress-free for all of our clients. We pledge to always make our clients our top priority from start to finish, and even after the house is closed. We will always be a valued resource for information and assistance for our buyers and sellers. Our customers over the years have become not only past clients, but great friends. As we join hands together as the Property Sisters of the Mohawk Valley, we look forward to serving our clients and our community and making a positive difference. You can reach us at 315-601-9630 for all of your real estate needs.
The Disruption Network is making moves. For upcoming events, news, interviews, and new daily programming, keep in the loop with us at DisruptionNetwork.net. Like, follow, and subscribe to all our social media. And check out all our podcasts on iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, and Spotify. Get up on the D, DisruptionNetwork.net.
Hello, everybody, and happy Tuesday. Glad to have you here with us on the D. First, before I even get started, I want to mention that we are disrupting hunger this Sunday, April 28th, at the Central New York Veterans Outreach Center from 2 to 5, is it? Noon to 4, sorry. I would have had you late. Noon to 4. Get on down there. Bring your canned goods, non-perishables. They'll take new clothing, socks, underwear, pretty much anything. Check out our page. The event's on there. It tells you what we're looking for. And now I'm going to welcome my two guests.
Hello.
We
hello.
have Sister Patty.
Hello.
And Sister Joelle.
Hello. Hello.
Hello, ladies.
Hello.
So what we're going to do today is we are going to kind of take you through the buying process right from the beginning. Let's think about buying a house to the end, closing. Yay.
Yay.
Yay. So who wants to start? Why should people get approved and how do we go about it?
Go ahead, Patty.
I would think JoJo should start with this one.
Yeah,
Go,
because you
Joe.
were on the
You're
phone
new.
this morning.
Show everybody what you
You were
can
on the
do.
phone this morning and you were very impressive.
I'm
liked how you
impressed
were
by
talking
you.
to that buyer.
Well, I think from my vast training with some of the three greatest women ever of why people should get pre-approved is a few different reasons. One is so that they really truly understand what their budget is, because just because people get approved at a certain level doesn't necessarily mean from an affordability factor. That's where they, from a monthly budget, they can be.
Right.
The second thing too is, and I'm finding this a lot lately now that, there's a lot of first-time home buyers that are coming out, starting to look at houses, that if they don't understand what kind of loan they have, then we may be looking at houses that might not qualify for, if they have an FHA or a VA loan.
Yep. And we're going to get into loans in a little bit for you guys.
So I think that, those are two really big pieces of the puzzle in regards to why people should get pre-approved ahead of time. Mm-hmm. And then the obvious reason is if they fall in love with a house and they want to put an offer in, you're not going anywhere unless you have a pre-approval.
And sellers are not waiting.
No.
They've already got 3 or 4 offers and they don't care about your 5th or 6th.
Right.
They just don't.
So I would say that those are probably, from what I've experienced, the 3 big reasons why people should have a pre-approval letter and truly just understand where they are financially.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because I've had some people who they want to start looking before the approval and they're like, no, I'm sure we can afford, $250,000, and they end up at a 175 range.
Right.
Now, if I had taken them out to see $250,000 homes, they would have hated every single 175 home I showed them because they wouldn't have compared.
Right. And the other thing, too, I think is important is for people when they're looking, especially specific areas that they want to be in, to understand what the tax difference is.
Right.
I just had a client recently, they loved the house, but the taxes were over $10,000 a year. So once they, figured out what really that was going to do to their bottom line monthly payment, they expanded outside certain areas, and broadened their reach a little bit of what they wanted to look at. So I think
because
that's
taxes, they do.
crucial, too.
They affect your payment.
Right.
A $6,000 tax bill is $500 a month.
Right.
And, it's broken down over 12 months rather than 360 for the life of the loan. So a lot of times I've had people say, oh, no, we can only buy up to, 150 with $6,000 taxes. But I'm saying, yes, but this is, 170 with $2,500 taxes. So payment wise,
And that's
same.
Exactly how the
and you're just paying more to yourself and less to taxes.
And that's exactly how the conversation went, was that if you want to stay in this one particular area, you're going to get less house if from a budget standpoint. If you can, expand to some surrounding areas that have less taxes, we can get you more house for your budget and still have your payment the same. So I think that's another really critical reason why the whole pre-approval process with taxes and really understanding that. And obviously as agents, that's our responsibility, is to educate them, on what they can get and what they're comfortable paying.
And what they have to bring to the table.
Yes.
Because you have closing costs.
Mm-hmm.
Right. I think that's confusing for people, is how much money do they need? And I think most people are payment people nowadays, whether it's a car or a house. So they get a pre-qual and it says they can buy a $150,000 house. So they start on Zillow and they're looking. But what they really need to do is tell us, how much are you comfortable every month paying? Because it may not be a $150,000 house. I have a lot of times people will say, well, I want to be at $700 a month. Well, you're looking at a house around $90,000 max. That's a big difference between 150 and 90. So we're going to cut out a lot of our, options if you truly are only comfortable paying $700 a month.
Yeah.
So that's a conversation that your agent should have with you.
And honestly, it sets you up. I think the whole pre-qualification part with the bank and, your realtor, where you're, kind of talking these things out, it sets up everything else. Everything's going to go off of that. Your search, your whole experience.
And what I found, and I was warned about this when I first started, is that everybody thinks they have like an 800 credit score. So, so obviously the credit score is going to impact, their interest rates and different things. So
Insurance even.
Right.
Your credit score affects your insurance.
So, there's so many reasons why people need to get pre-approved, but they think it's just because we want to make sure that they can afford the house. But
well, let's talk about the risk aspect, because folks, we go into vacant homes with people we don't know by ourselves. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we kind of want you to have called a bank and,
right, exactly.
Talk to them and know that we're not putting our life on the line for nothing.
Although tasers are now legal in New York.
Yes.
And my husband
Don't you forget it.
Right as we speak, getting all of us tasers.
Oh, I love him.
Yes.
Is that like a little Christmas gift or something?
It's going to be, it's a summer gift. Hey, tase a friend.
Okay.
Todd better not.
I think we all ought to know how it feels. Have a tase party.
It's funny you say that because I have a client. I have a client that I met on Zillow, and we hit it off. And so she wanted to go look at this vacant property, and I had said something once about having pepper spray with me. Mm-hmm. So we were upstairs in this vacant property, and somebody came in it was like 3 floors up, and somebody came in the bottom floor. So I immediately whipped the pepper spray out of my pocket as I'm going down, and she's behind me. And I'm yelling, "Hello, hello!" And she's like, "Wow, you really weren't kidding." I was no.
Actually, you have it cocked and ready.
Yeah, I
to
did.
go always.
I did.
Yeah. She's gonna be blown away when you pull out your taser.
Right,
you're like zap, zap.
But it's the thing that's interesting is it's legal to carry in New York State, but you have to go through a big process to get your license to carry, and now it's legal to have a taser gun, and I think it's a pretty easy. Yeah. We'll practice on each other just so we know we've got it down.
Well, there's a couple other people.
We'll practice on Patty to make sure.
No. We all have to experience what tasing.
I think Brett's a big.
I think you should tase Brett. Yeah. I think tase your broker.
Yeah,
I think
broker.
so.
Thanks, Brett.
Yeah.
He wants us all safe. He does.
I know.
He'll take a few tasings.
Don't worry. If you're pre-qualified and we trust you, you won't be tased. There's no danger.
We're not going to be going around tasing people.
Disclaimer.
So okay, let's just say we've had the pre qualification and we've had our counseling appointment. We're going out looking at houses. Mm-hmm. So what should people be conscious of when they're looking at houses?
Well, neighborhood, where they want to be, school districts, if they have a child that they want to have in a certain district. Flood zones are important because sometimes there's a reason why there's a price tag on a house that seems too good to be true.
Yep.
So, they really need an agent that's going to explore every home that they're interested in before they go out. And I always suggest go out first and look at the neighborhood before you get your agent involved in making an appointment, because it's really not fair to a seller to book an appointment and then show up there and say, oh, no, I would never live here, or I would never live in this neighborhood. Yeah. So it's really worthwhile for you to, line up your houses, take a little ride, be comfortable with those neighborhoods, and then say, let's go see A, B, C, D house. Yeah. And then your agent will get you all the information on those homes.
I agree. So, I agree completely.
Mm-hmm. And the other thing, too, going back to what kind of loan, if you have people that they want to take a look at certain houses and you look up and they don't qualify for FHA, or you immediately pull up, because I find too that there's agents that put that houses will qualify for FHA, and then I pull up and one of the first things I do sometimes is call the agent and say, I'm just want to clarify, it says FHA's acceptable. Is your seller willing to do all of the exterior paint work and things like that that were that are obviously needed? So I think that that's a huge part of it too, as an agent, of kind of trying to filter through houses that even if the people love them, they're not going to qualify for them.
And there's nothing worse than showing somebody a house that their mortgage won't approve.
Right. Mm-hmm. And I think you have to, in this market, you have to gear up your buyer for disappointment, because it is, since I've been in the business, it's the most aggressive seller's market I've ever seen. Yeah. Last year was aggressive. This is even worse. So the inventory is low. The buying population is high. So, if they set their sights on a brand new listing, chances are so have 10 other buyers.
Especially when they're out on the open market.
Exactly.
Because I've just...
Yeah, it's hard.
I'm in another
it's-
bidding war right now.
Yep, it's a jungle out there, and they have to be prepared that they may have to escalate. How much are they willing to escalate? You know,
Does your agent know what an escalation
right?
clause
Does your agent know what that is and how to run that? Because
Yeah.
that can make or break whether or not you get that house. So,
Yeah.
And sometimes even with all of
oh,
these,
yeah. right, yes, it's
Well, there's so many factors. I mean, well, we'll get to that though.
the day
Right
where
now
you had
they're looking at houses.
Right, they're
They
looking.
haven't picked one yet.
Right. So, and it's a lot of fun. I mean, usually I don't know about you guys, but everybody always asks like, how many houses should I see before I pick one? My
know when you see
feeling,
it.
well, yeah, but I feel like if they really know what their budget is, where they want to be, and what they're looking for, I really feel like they shouldn't really be looking at more than 10 to 15 homes, because if we start going beyond that, then they really don't know what they want,
Right.
or they haven't really thought it out. And
then we reevaluate.
yeah,
and-
it's then they're going to get confused, and it's almost like they've seen too much. So I think that their agent really needs to reel them in and say, okay, what do we really want? And if you show them 3 houses on what they really said they wanted, and they're like, no, then maybe you need another sit down to talk about really what are we looking for.
Because I've had clients who we walk into the first house and they're like, this is it. This is the one. I want to
Right.
buy it right now. And I'm like, you've seen
Easy.
one house. But they really were that educated.
Right.
They were online. We had the counseling session. They knew they had driven by 3 times. They went morning, noon, and night.
Right.
It's through the neighborhood. And we saw 3 more houses and they went back to the first one and we bought it.
Yep.
But
And if
that
you're
was
lucky,
a different market. That was a few years ago.
right? So now if they
But if you
honestly
see one, I think
know,
you have to go for it.
yeah, if you see it, it's your first house. A lot of times people will say, well, this is the first one I'm looking at. I love it, but maybe there's something better out there.
There's always something better. There is.
Yeah, there might
are
be.
You, are you? Can you afford it? Are
Right.
You,
Right. Or are they prepared to walk out of this one and not find the next
The
best
next
thing
best,
and
yeah.
have this one be gone?
I think that's probably what you are hitting on right now. Being new is something that is probably one of the most frustrating things just coming into this career path, and really trying to educate your buyers that you can't wait anymore, and you can't think you're going to lowball, and you can't you just won't get the house.
Right.
And that's
There's no lowballing anymore.
And that's a hard conversation, especially with first time home buyers. It's a hard conversation to have and say, listen, I had somebody who was like, well, I'm not paying asking just for the principal. And I said, well, then you are losing this house based off principal. And we lost the house based off principal. But, people are going to make their own decisions. But just trying to get them to understand is that you can't wait anymore. You have to jump on it.
Yeah, I agree completely.
Right.
And that's hard for people to understand. Because buying a house is one of the biggest decisions that they're going to make.
Well, with the last 2 offers that I made, we went in the house. We wrote the offer that minute. We were the first people to see the house. We were the first ones in, and within 2 hours, I had a call. You're on multiple offers. I need your highest and best.
Yep.
So I mean, it really doesn't even matter if you're fast anymore.
Right. And sometimes buyers don't understand, well, I'm the first one to see it. I'm giving them what they want. I want them to accept that offer.
Yeah, but
well,
yeah.
there's a
Just
not
just as your buyer's agent is looking to get you the best deal,
right. The seller's
agent is looking to get them the best. deal.
right. There's nothing better than a bidding war.
I think has a lot of confusion for people that like go to open houses
Right.
or call the listing agent. Sometimes they don't understand that they're a seller's agent.
Right. And
And the other thing too is from a buyer side of it is you really, and I understand everybody works, but you really have to try to be as flexible as possible with your schedule.
Yeah, this is your part-time job,
Right.
house hunting.
Because if not, you are, if I got a call today, we set an appointment today for a house that came on the market today, set the appointment for Thursday. And the exact words from the seller's agent is,
You're not
you
gonna
can
get
go in as long as it's still available. And that's 2 days from now.
You
But
probably won't get
we
in.
probably won't get in. So, and this is a couple that's already lost 3 houses in bidding wars.
you're right.
So,
I feel so bad for them.
I know, I do too. But so that's the thing too, is just trying to be as as flexible as possible.
Yep.
Whether it's on lunchtime or, later
But it's
nights.
Before work, after work, weekends,
Yep.
we're working.
If we're
Trust me.
working, then you have to. If your agent calls you and says there's a great house, meets all your criteria,
You drop everything and
price,
run.
everything. Let's hit it tonight at 5:00. You need to put all of your activities, extra things that you got to do away and hit that house because
Yep.
otherwise you will lose that and you'll be
Hold dinner off half an hour, 45 minutes,
Right.
whatever it takes.
right.
And the problem with this one couple is the husband works the husband works overnights,
Yeah.
and then she works, later in the
Yeah.
day. And
Sometimes it's just
So, they have-
impossible.
so I'm like, listen, then one of you go in, one of you check it off the list.
I've actually done that before.
So-
I've done that before where I took the husband in like at 8:00 in the morning before he went to work at 9.
Right.
And she got out at 3. So I took her in at 3:30.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then,
Well,
they
virtual
called back.
showings.
I was just
now.
going to say,
Yeah.
like
Virtual
FaceTime
showings
or
are huge
something.
now because you'll have an out of area client or a client that goes on vacation and something perfect comes up.
Yep.
They literally are going to make a decision based on you walking them through with your phone.
I've done that before.
Yep, me too. And written an offer, and the first time they see it is at the home inspection.
Yeah.
So,
It's just always
know.
nerve-wracking.
oh my god, it is kind of nerve wracking when you pick a home for somebody.
Yeah.
But you got to get to know each other, and it becomes more of a partnership. Definitely a friendship in a lot of manners, even after the closing. If you've done your job right, usually your people will reach back out and ask you questions if they have them, and about anything.
Yeah. And everything.
and everything. Oh yeah, so.
The source of the source.
The source of the source.
Right.
I got that from Cindy Lazaro.
Yeah?
Be the source
Be
of the
the
source,
source of
not
the
the
source.
source. Keep you out of trouble.
True.
I got it from you, so.
I passed it
I
on.
didn't know you stole it.
Oh yeah. Trust me, I stole little bits from everybody. Linda
Well,
Peters.
she's a good one. She's a good one to steal from.
Yeah, she's
so.
brilliant. I love Cindy.
Yeah.
We love you, Cindy.
We love you, Cindy. Is she watching?
I don't know.
Oh,
Probably not.
No, I don't see her.
lunchtime.
We'll tell her we love her anyways.
okay.
So, we go out, we house hunt, we, look at the house. It's got the right bedrooms, the right bathrooms. The yard is perfect.
Yep.
Basement is dry. Electrical doesn't look like it's all frayed and, falling apart. And we go in, we put in an offer. We get the offer accepted. Now, what do we do?
Yay.
We have a cocktail.
No, now we
Now
have
we
the
get
hard
to
work.
work.
Now the
Now
hard
we
part
get to
I was going to
work.
say, and that's
the easy
the other
part.
thing I've learned is that people get all excited. I'm like, don't get excited yet.
That was the easy part.
Don't get excited
Getting the
yet.
offer accepted
Yep.
is the easy part. Then the
Right.
work begins.
Work starts, right. So then they have 5 business days to start the whole bank application process. They have to make their home inspection appointments, get that scheduled with the homeowner, and really begin the hard work of A, B, C, and D. And if their agent is good, they'll guide them down that path, and hopefully their lender will also help them along that.
Well, if they listen to their agent,
right.
they won't end up with one of the lenders that just...
Because there's a lot to it. There's a lot that they have to do.
Don't buy a new car.
Don't buy a new car.
Don't buy
Don't get
anything.
engaged.
Don't buy anything.
How about I had a
I know,
guy
the engagement ring.
got engaged. He was so excited. They were so excited. Got this beautiful home, and we were probably 4 weeks out of closing. And they do what they call a soft credit pull right before you close. And he had gone out and asked her to marry him and bought a $2,000 engagement ring. And when your DTI is right on the brink, it threw him over, and they didn't get the house. So buy her the ring.
I would have brought the ring back, paid off the credit card.
Right. I don't think he could. I think there was some.
Yeah.
He wasn't able to do that. I actually had a lady that had a $40 Kohl's charge, and it stopped everything on a $40 Kohl's charge. The day before closing, she had to go down there, pay off that Kohl's charge in order to close.
Oh, my Lord.
Some people are that tight to the vest.
I had a client yesterday. We were at an inspection, and she mentions how she just bought some furniture, and I just stopped, and she goes, "Oh no, I remember from the last time. I paid cash for what I bought, and then the furniture I put just a $500 hold on. I paid cash." I'm like, okay. All right.
Yeah, it makes you
She's like,
nervous.
yep. And I checked with the mortgage
People
broker.
don't know. They have no idea
But
that.
I'm lucky. This client is a dream. She doesn't really do anything without checking with somebody
Yep.
to make sure that
That's good.
because it's precarious if
Right.
if you do something like that and screw up your financing.
Right. And you're excited.
And
You're
if
getting a new
past
house.
inspection and appraisal and all that, you're out
Right.
money.
Right. And there is excitement involved, and they want to measure and put a new rug or whatever. I always tell people, live close to the vest. Don't buy anything you don't need. Keep your paychecks going into your bank account until we close. And then if you want to buy, get engaged, buy a new car, lease a new car,
Do
go
it
for
right
it.
after.
Do it right after, but not before.
No.
Right.
Do nothing before. Thou shalt not spend any money.
Thou shall not spend any money. Right. For 2 months.
And then inspections are always fun.
Yeah.
Well, I think if you do your job on the beginning, you don't have as many surprises because I know you girls look, you're making sure basement walls aren't pregnant and there's not, cracks all over the place and whatnot. But yeah, inspection is nerve-wracking, I think, for buyers and sellers.
Yeah.
Right. Getting a good inspector and then also being counseled by your agent. If you're buying a $50,000 home, you're going to have issues. And I think sometimes, especially first-timers, think that they're going to get the Better Homes and Gardens perfect house without any problems. So they get this kind of horrifying home inspection report and they begin to panic. And if the inspector's doing their job, they kind of explain, this is what can be done to remedy this. As long as it's nothing major, that's going to break their bank, they're going to have to spend some money in their new house getting it up to snuff. And the seller's responsibility isn't to make that house perfect for you. I think
the misconception is perfect.
Perfect.
There is no perfect.
There's no perfect
Nothing
house.
is-
You can't take your
perfect
checklist
enough.
and go, here, Mr. Seller, here's my home inspection report, which is 25 pages long. Please complete every single thing.
Yeah.
You'll lose the house.
And I think from a buyer side of it too, some things that I've heard that I've had to educate buyers on is that that's not like another negotiation process of the
Lowering your price, right.
Right.
No.
So just because you think you paid a little bit too high doesn't mean that that the inspection items are what you want to use to try to get your credit down, the credit
credited
down to what the prices that you thought you should have paid.
Yeah.
So that's been another education with certain buyers.
It's for major functional defects or safety issues.
Right. And major structural issues.
Yeah.
So, and safety problems. And I think sometimes buyers are like, oh, I want all of these things addressed. That's not going to happen.
Right. The going back to one of those funny memes, the faucet's dripping. I want the whole entire bathroom replaced.
Yeah.
But it's funny.
Yeah.
But it's funny because it's based in some truth.
Right. It is true. So yeah, inspections get done. Radon's a big thing now. It's found in many homes.
And it shifts.
And if somebody, I had one client that I sold the house for, and their radon came back perfect. They kept the report. 2 years later, they sold the house, supplied the report to the buyer. I gave it to the agent thinking, here, this will save them the money on the radon. The buyer decided to have the radon test anyway. It came back high.
Yeah.
So
it does. It shifts and it changes.
Right. So, it is going to cost you an extra $120, $150, but it's probably worth it to do.
Yeah, because if it comes back high, it could be up,
Yep.
I've seen $3,000 systems. I mean, normally it's, $1,100, $1,500, but I've seen them come in high.
Right.
I had one of those when I sold my house in Floyd.
Yeah.
Because my
Yay.
radon was 27.0.
Oh.
And I'd lived there for 13 years, yeah. And it was a big basement. So they had to try one system, and then when that wasn't getting us to the levels we needed, then we tried another one. But so yeah, I mean, it's like you said, for $125,
it's worth it.
It's worth it, and especially if you have kids, and just for your own health, but just especially if you're going to have your kids playing in play areas in the basement and whatnot, or even in the home, even if it's a slab.
Or if you're going to finish it, have a family room.
Is that I hear.
Yeah, you can have radon on.
I was
going
to say, just because it's a slab doesn't mean you shouldn't have radon done either. So, yeah, just to be educated on all those things.
And then, of course, you have well and septic if you're in rural areas. You definitely want to make sure your water's good. And again, the levels can shift and change as things happen.
I think the other big thing for buyers that they don't understand is they think that once they buy the house, we'll be able to magically give them a closing date. Okay, so when am I closing? Quite honestly, I don't think in my whole career I've ever been able to pinpoint. So you write 60 days on the contract. So everybody thinks, oh, I'm going to close on, May 15th. Probably
It's
not.
on or about.
It's an on or about.
Yeah.
So, and there's really no way that your agent can give you that specific date. So you have to just, work with your banker, work with your agent, and hope that you can get close to that date within a 2-week
And there's no
time frame.
title issues or
Right.
this, that,
And the
or the
attorney.
anything.
Right. The attorney doesn't go on maybe on vacation or everything. There's all different little pieces that can slow things up.
I always say if we actually close on this date,
Oh my gosh,
that
miracle.
would be a perfect day to buy a lottery ticket.
Oh my God.
Because you will be the one in a million.
Right.
I don't think I've ever had a closing on the closing date.
I did, but it was a delayed cash closing, and it had a drop dead.
Yeah. Even cash
hefty fine if they didn't close on that day. Yeah, but it was cash, and it was like
right. So
3 months down the road. I mean, it would have been pretty impossible not to hit that mark.
Right.
Especially with Pat Bobrow as the attorney for the seller. I mean,
yeah, she's great.
she is.
She knows her stuff.
Yeah. What is she, like 37 years of experience now? I mean, I have the questions. Pat.
I know. She's great. She knows her stuff.
Mm-hmm. So beyond like the well and the septic, you really can inspect anything. I've written in for chimney inspections and, all whatnot.
Inspections.
Yeah, but I don't know that I would recommend that if you're in multiple offers.
Mm-hmm.
You kind of want to just stick to the basics and, maybe set your limits higher.
Yeah. And the problem is too, is some agents, in order to win the bidding war, you can get kind of crazy and go, well, I'll take the inspection out.
Mm-hmm.
My daughter just called. They live in Buffalo. Her and her boyfriend are trying to buy a house, and they just lost the bidding war. They had the highest offer. The other buyer took their inspection out, and that kicked them out. And she's been with me long enough where she's like, I'm not doing without my inspection.
Mm-hmm. No, because you know what? Not for nothing. That is a life-changing decision.
Oh.
Financially, life-changing. Because God forbid, 2 or 3 of those basement walls are caving in.
Right.
The electrical in the walls is shot. I mean, you don't know these things.
No, it's like having a baby. That you have the baby, you don't, you hope and pray for everything to be perfect, but sometimes it's not. So, you try to do the best you can in preparation so that whatever you end up with, you're
prepared
it's yours.
Yeah.
You close on that, you sign that closing document. I've
It's
had
done.
people
It's
call
as
me up and
is.
say, hey, I got in, my hot water tank went the next day. If it had gone the day before closing, you had to have a new hot water tank. Welcome
And that's how it always
welcome
goes.
to home ownership.
That's how it always goes.
Yeah.
Something either breaks a few days
Right.
before or a few days after
Right.
closing.
So, and it can be really disheartening because they get in their new house and they're like, oh my God. Welcome to that. Welcome to the wonderful world of home ownership.
Yeah.
I just had that happen. We put a bid on. We had the higher offer.
Yep.
But we had a home inspection, and we set high limits on the home inspection. But because there was a home inspection, the seller took the lower offer on the house.
Right.
So I had to call my client and tell her, and she's like, well, I'm just going to believe that something was majorly wrong with the house and it was going to burn down and I was going to die inside, and that's why I didn't get it. I'm like, that's a perfect way to think about it.
That's a good way to think about it. God forbid that house burns down. But yeah, I mean, you can't, I just, there's very few instances where I'm very comfortable without an inspection, and they have to be a seasoned buyer, contractor, or something like that. I mean, if it's just a first-time buyer buying a house, and forget the inspection. I'm like,
yeah, and ultimately, it's really the buyer's choice. So
it
you
is.
get to
I mean,
choose.
we can counsel, but we can't make them do something.
If we counsel you and we tell you this, and you say, I can't lose this house, and putting this home inspection is going to put me at a disadvantage, I don't care. I'm doing it. That's your. We actually have a form that they sign that says that we've advised you to have a home inspection, and by your choice, you've declined it.
That's how serious this is.
Right.
We have a form that says, we told you so.
We told you. And if you say no, then you got to sign that we said you should. And then if you're cool with proceeding without one, then you just sign it. And then, the liability is off of our shoulders because they can't say, well, my agent told me that I shouldn't.
Right.
So you whip out your form. Whip it out.
So let's talk about appraisals.
Oh.
And we can get into like the loan differences and the appraisals, because that's really when it comes into into effect. With a conventional loan, the appraisal's probably going to go pretty smooth. I think there has to be some pretty bad stuff going on for it not to pass a conventional. But when we get into like the FHA, VA, USDA, there's certain, requirements for the house that, are going to,
and
put a
that's
little halt
confusing
to it.
too, because the buyers think an appraisal and an inspection are the same thing. Mm-hmm. They think, oh, I'm getting an appraisal done and I'm paying for it. So if the appraiser finds that there's something wrong with the house, can I get money off of it? Mm-hmm. The appraiser's job is completely different than your home inspector's job. So he's more interested in value base for the bank and danger or safety issues that the bank will have a problem loaning on. He doesn't really care how old your furnace is or how old the roof is, or whether or not there's
to an extent.
They need
but
3
years life. But you're right. I mean, you could have a furnace from 1950.
Right.
But if you have a little peeling paint, they care about the peeling paint.
Right. Exactly. So it's a different, totally different thing.
Mm-hmm.
And the other thing for appraisals too is, especially with FHA, if they're adding in 6% seller's concessions, getting the buyers to understand that, hey, I know you need 6% to get towards your closing costs, but the house may not appraise when you add that additional 6% on to the value that you're going to need. So,
and what are we going to do then?
Right, and being cautious of that, and having a plan B of what do we do if it doesn't appraise up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right, because the seller can simply say, listen, it appraised to what I was asking and you went over what I was asking, so why should I take the hit?
Why should I pay your closing costs?
Right, why should I have to pay them? So, you may end up losing the house over that.
Right.
So, it's something to think about. And your agent should probably have a good idea of whether or not that house will appraise based on comps in the area to that level.
Right.
So that you don't get disappointed.
Well, and the same thing for, condition issues. We just did a deal where the electric service line needed to be changed.
Yep.
So we, held off on the appraisal until after that's done, because why have the appraiser come out and then have her come back out, to re-inspect.
And hopefully she won't find something else to come back out, because sometimes they do that. They'll find something, and even though we've done our due diligence and replaced the electric service line, that appraiser could go in and pick something completely off the radar and
that didn't even think about.
None of us
or would have known.
Water tank or something $20
You're right,
apart.
exactly. So sometimes you just
Well, I have a new one. I've never run into this. All the deals that I've done, I've never had this situation. Sold a house. It has a fire escape, and so I'm like, FHA loan. I'm like, there are going to be railing issues with this because it's an old fire escape. So it's just, the angle iron and then the one in the middle and the one on the bottom. So, I mean, there's,
Is it a 2-family home?
No, single family.
Oh.
Single family.
Fire escape. Interesting.
Yeah, 3-story.
Oh.
Yeah. It was an old nursing home.
Huh.
Oh, wow.
I wonder I wonder if it would be required. Could they just take it down? Would the seller just take that down to avoid issues? No, if it's not a codes requirement.
It's a 3-story fire escape.
Oh.
Steel.
Oh, so
it's it's got to weigh
Is
thousands.
it a fold down?
No. Oh no.
Oh, so it's an.
She's a honey from like the 30s.
Oh.
I used to have them when I lived on Blandina Street.
Yeah.
I used to have one of those off my back window.
Yeah, it's got to be heavy, and I can't imagine. I think you would have to have some kind of machinery back there to. Kind of coax it away from it's heavy, it's big. So I shot a picture, sent it to my appraiser, see what he says.
What'd they say?
Well, I actually had to, I got to send it to another one. Frank, you'll be getting a text in a minute. But I sent it to the appraiser who happens to be appraising the house, and I'm like, stop, don't answer that. Forget I even sent it. Just forget it.
Oh.
Did you know he was appraising it?
I didn't. Not when I sent the picture, but then probably 10 minutes later, I got the email that he was appraising it. I'm like, damn it.
Right.
Don't answer. I'm so sorry. I didn't even know. But so I didn't get the answer from him, but I'll text Frank Donato and see what he says.
Yeah.
Because
good.
I've never run into it before with
a single family home.
Yeah, and a fire escape and just the whole situation. I'm not sure on it.
Mm-hmm.
See, even you are learning something new.
And
every day.
I know.
Really, we do.
You do.
in this
I mean,
job.
there's just so much.
There's so
So
much.
many little moving parts that come together to make the transaction successful that
Yep.
and you get a curveball every now and again, like a fire escape.
Right.
But then the happy day comes when you do get to closing finally.
Yes.
And that is a happy day.
That is a
It is
happy
a
day.
happy day.
There's a lot to getting to that final point.
Yeah,
that
because
people don't realize. They think,
you've got
"Oh,
the appraisal. That'll take
Right.
about a week, 10 days. You've got to make sure the value comes back, covers all the concessions, and
Right.
all the title work is done in that time. The attorneys update the abstract and all that happy stuff. Make sure there's no liens.
Right. Right. So, if everybody does what they're supposed to do, usually it ends in a nice, happy ending closing. So,
Yes. CNY Preferred Home Inspections loves us.
Yeah. Oh.
oh,
John.
She is. Hey, Wendy, how are you?
Hi, Wendy.
hi, Wendy.
Kelly's watching too.
Oh, hi,
Two
Kelly.
more of our girls.
Oh, Kelly. Love Kelly.
But yeah, so once the title's all completed and the bank and attorneys review that, then we get to schedule closing. So, and it's not even that easy for closing. You need the 3-day mandatory wait period, to review your documents and then final walkthrough. Take us through a final walkthrough. What do you do on the final walkthrough?
Final walkthroughs, you basically do like a mini home inspection. So you're retesting the appliances to make sure they work, and the heater and the air conditioning, flushing toilet, anything that, you want to check.
Because it's been at this point.
To make sure. And then, those are the big things that you're looking for. And then, then you're obviously making sure that the seller took their personal items and they've left it in broom clean condition. And, so there's all of that. I had one nightmare walkthrough. Actually, it was
Just
your
one?
house. It was one of your houses.
Just one?
But it was, and this is something too that I wasn't aware of that I learned is, so the people had all their stuff in the garage. And so when we did the home inspection, the home inspector couldn't see the floor of the garage because all their stuff was covering it. And it was an out-of-town buyer, and she flew in. She was buying the house for her mom, so she flies in. And then the day we go to do the final walkthrough, they still had stuff in their garage because it was multiple people. And we said, okay, we'll hold off. Well, when it finally came where they took all the stuff out of their garage, the floor was heaved so bad that you couldn't even park a car.
Oh, wow.
So it's, it's knowing the things to look for and, really making sure that you do your due diligence on final walkthrough to make sure that, that your buyer is comfortable, that you have looked at everything, that there's no issues. And
Because once you accept, that's
Right.
it. All real
Can't hold
estate
money back
transactions
and-
are as is.
Right.
That is it.
But the thing is, too, though, that buyers have to understand is that, when you buy a house furnished and there's rugs and there's no way for, you to lift every rug and look behind every single and there's going to be wall cracks or, somebody, didn't use the right hammer and there's,
Right.
so if you really want to screw the closing up, you go in there and you say, oh, this wasn't how I wanted it. And chances are the seller isn't going to necessarily give you a credit at
Right.
closing for things that are what I call like wear and tear. So I like to show vacant houses because that's how you're getting it.
Me
Right.
too.
And I like to tell my buyers, listen, when we go in, there's going to be things on the wall. There's going to be, not everybody is, some people are super meticulous. They'll patch holes, they'll match paint. I mean, I've been in homes that they are so fastidious about leaving that home better than they
Perfect.
found it.
Yeah.
And I'm so appreciative of those sellers.
that's
but
a big word.
yes, word of the day. Anyway, so when you go in, especially first timers are like, oh, this is the house. Because sometimes it doesn't look as nice. And they're like,
Right.
oh, this is my house. I'm like, yes, this is your house naked.
Congratulations.
This is
Dress
how,
it up.
This is yours to give it some love.
right. So, you can't go in there with like a laundry list and go, okay, I want credits for all this stuff. This is part of the fun. You're just
Right.
going to put your painter pants on and start working.
Yeah.
So,
Unless
I mean,
you-
obviously a heaved, I don't know. What did you do about your big heaved floor?
We couldn't get anything at that point.
Okay.
But it was an education process for everybody. It wasn't, and
Yeah.
Yeah.
Disclaimer: I had never seen the
No,
garage
I was
floor
saying she
either
had never
because
seen
it
the
was
floor either.
it was yeah.
Well, sometimes
I don't know if they had seen it in years.
And I was just going to say, I don't even think that the sellers knew, the exact condition of the floor either. So, but it's just, it's really, and I actually had a different house where the seller, it was a flip house, and the seller, we had done home inspections and everything, and the seller, I went in and I started, testing everything, and he was mad. I mean, he was yelling at me that it was already, the home was already inspected, and why am I doing that? And, and as I'm doing that, I determined that he hadn't turned the water on, and, there were different things.
Right.
And, but, I mean, that's part of the game, I guess, part of the process. So
I had one
you
where
encounter all types.
Oh yeah, oh god, yeah. I had one, and I still even remember the address. We walked into the house and everything was out except for a rug.
Oh.
But it wasn't like one of those rugs that you would necessarily leave behind for somebody. It was just, So I'm like, let me just peel that back. So I peeled it back, and they had cut a whole section out of the hardwood floors.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, like room size
Yeah.
section, and filled it in and covered it with this rug.
So what did you do then? What happened?
Oh, yeah, we got a nice credit.
Oh, okay.
Because this was before closing.
Yeah.
So we said,
right.
Yeah, we're not.
Right.
Not
Things like
closing
that.
with
You have a
this.
legitimate cause when
Because it
when
was
it's
a rug that
clearly
wasn't
hidden.
there when we had
Right.
seen the house. And I'm like, why would you bring this massive rug in?
Right.
And that was why.
Yeah.
Shady mother.
Sneaky.
Yeah. I was like, I've had it before where there's like a big picture on the wall and there's a huge hole in the wall behind it. Yeah, you never know.
Yeah.
I did have one of my clients leave a whole garage full of crap.
Yep.
And we were closing in like 4 hours. I called my husband. I'm like, we got to go now. Get your truck.
And it's important too to communicate with the other agent in regards to like what's acceptable to leave behind, because just because you have this much left in a paint can that is the color of the living room doesn't mean that it's acceptable to leave the paint can. And the sellers might think they're doing the buyers a favor
Right.
by leaving extra construction materials or empty paint cans or whatever it is. But then the buyers come in and they're like, I don't want this junk. So
Yeah, and then they have to
it's-
get rid
right,
of it.
So it's important to communicate with the other agent to see what's okay to leave behind, or what might be of value to your buyers.
Good point.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I like that. So what else do we have in the process? Once we've closed, what
I've
else?
learned that she hasn't turned her phone off the whole
No,
time.
I know. She has not. She has not.
We've all learned that, haven't we?
My messages are all coming through on silent, Chicky.
I was going to say, my
Speaking
Apple
of tricky
Watch-
closings.
my Apple Watch is blowing up. But you can't hear it.
Oh,
Oh, you
I
know,
can feel the vibration under my feet.
I forgot, actually, we forgot to talk about insurance. And that's another. There's some
always forget that
prepayables.
one.
Yeah, I mean we should.
Insurance.
Whatever.
Who
But we
needs
should
that?
tell people
It's up
the
to me to do.
prepayables. You pay for like all of your inspections, your appraisal, and your first years of insurance up front before you even get to the closing table. So none of that is worked into the closing costs. Usually, most else is.
And that's always a shocker to buyers, too.
Yeah.
They're like, I need to pay what ahead of time? And how much money do I need?
Yep.
So, yeah, it's that. And never, I never quote anybody on what
Because it
Like
depends
what-
what you want for coverage. Totally.
right. I just had
Well, and
one
credit
almost
score
blow
and-
up on me, but luckily the wife knew that the husband doesn't really pay attention to what is being said. And he was like, how much out of pocket do I need? And I was like, well, you got your $1,000 deposit. Went through a couple things. And so he had $2,000 stuck in his head. So when it was talking to the lender,
Right.
and they talked about closing costs, it was, well, Joelle told me it was going to be $2,000. And I was like, no, wait, time out. No, I didn't. So yeah, you have to be careful.
Back
with
up
that.
and listen
But
to everything I
listen
say.
to everything I said.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of over-insuring. So I'll tell people, this is what I would do, but you've got to choose what you want to do, because some people might want to insure, the contents of their home for $500,000 or whatever. That all costs more money.
Yeah.
So it depends on
And some people want private mortgage insurance.
Right.
You know, I always say, what's your risk? What's your comfort with risk? You know, where are you at with that?
You're Irish like me. You go
take
low.
risk. You know, you're like, yeah, whatever. Nothing's going to happen. I'm Irish.
Take the risk.
But if you're that person,
they have the Irish person's insurance
you also
policy.
drink at funerals, so
we do. Actually, it's a mandatory thing.
We drink at weddings, funerals, bar mitzvahs,
happy, sad,
baptisms, christenings.
Every
every
occasion,
birthday
time for a
parties.
cocktail.
Stub our toe.
I went to my first Irish funeral a couple months ago, and there was a bar set up in the back, like they were like, yeah, that's what you're supposed to do. I was like, okay.
When I was in Ireland with the girls, we crashed 3 weddings.
Wow, you guys were in the wedding crasher.
Yeah, we were.
That would have been fun.
They loved us. They loved us. We loved them. That was fun. I love Irish. Irish weddings are good. So, all right, back to insurance.
All right.
So, they have to get
Insurance
insurance.
is boring.
They have to. I know.
It's boring.
I know.
That's why we forgot about it to mention it.
Private mortgage insurance covers you from any title issues that may pop up. It will cover your legal fees to defend those.
Right.
Which can be huge.
And I think PMI is also, going back to loans, is also important to educate your buyers.
Because it can make a huge difference.
Right. Because FHA, PMI stays with the entire length of the loan, where conventional, once you get to the
20%.
proper equity in the house, then it drops off. So, somebody might think, well, I'm saving money by not putting a lot of money down at, as my deposit, so I'm going to go FHA. But in the long run, really how much money are you extra are you paying?
And they do have low down payment conventionals. There's a few places that are doing 3% and 5% down. So,
yeah, the other thing I just thought of that buyers need to know is that as the buyer, they don't need to hire their own attorney, because part of their closing costs, the bank will provide an attorney to close. However, it's maybe a smart idea because the attorney isn't representing your interests. So, for example, if the floor is heaved at closing or there's some major issue at the walkthrough, that bank attorney is not there to go to bat for you, and your agent really isn't an attorney. So, as much as we know about a lot of things, we really can't defend you or represent you.
We can't practice law.
We can't practice law. So it's probably a good idea to hire your own attorney. Even though it's going to be a little extra expense for you. And oftentimes, if the bank's attorney is oftentimes willing to represent you too.
Yeah, so they give you a nice discount.
Right, they give you a nice discount, and now you have your own legal representation.
Because let me tell you, every time your agent is fighting your attorney will win. Just the way it is, because the attorney is the attorney. And, so then we have to call you and tell you to argue with your attorney because they're stupid.
Can we blank that part out?
Edit.
Edit the stupid attorney comment.
I love
very smart attorneys.
They know I love them, but they know I'll argue with them if I know I'm right.
I haven't been in the business long enough to do that.
No, I just have one that's annoying me right now, but he'll come around. He'll come around. Not saying that I'll go to his office and kick his ass or anything, but he'll come around one way or the other.
I have faith in her too.
So if any of you have any questions on the buying process or the selling process, my sisters are always happy to help.
Yes.
You can reach us at 315-601-9630, or you can reach Joelle directly at
315-796-4493 or www.connectwithjoelle.com.
Oh.
Yeah, she has her little
She's so
digital
tricky.
business card.
Yeah.
Nice. That's so nice.
Thanks.
Our designer had to have a baby,
Oh. That's true.
Yeah.
We're on hold on that. It's okay.
Yeah.
She'll be back in the swing of things.
Yeah.
Very soon.
She's coming. So I also want to remind you all, we're disrupting hunger this Sunday, 12 to 4. Over at the Central New York Veterans Outreach Center.
Right now.
So please stop by with your non-perishable items. Donate as much as you can. Give till it hurts. And we will see you next Tuesday. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
This has been Home Free with Adeline Van Dyke, sponsored by the Property Sisters of Mohawk Valley, a member of Weichert Realtors. Like and follow them on social media. Interested in buying or selling a home? Call 315-601-9630.
Disruption Network and First Source Federal Credit Union have teamed up to help support the Central New York Veterans Outreach Center Sunday, April 28th from noon till 4 p.m. Located at the Veterans Outreach Center, 726 Washington Street in Utica. There will be food, live entertainment, raffles, live podcasting from the D, and an appearance by Audie from the Utica Comets. We are looking for donations of clothes, non-perishable food items, furniture, toiletries, hygiene products, or a minimal cash donation of $5 at the door day of event. All ages are welcome. For more information on donation, drop-off locations, and entertainment lineup, please check out DisruptionNetwork.net. Disrupting Hunger, Sunday, April 28th, brought to you by First Source Federal Credit Union.
Tax season is here, and First Source wants to help you be prepared. Our friends at Furley, Moran, Freer, and Isa have given us some great tax tips to share. Read the blog at fsource.org for helpful answers to your tax questions and feel better prepared before you file. First Source members can also receive a discount on TurboTax software. Be ready for tax season with help from your friends. File smarter, live smarter with First Source. Membership requirements apply. Federally insured by NCUA.
The Baseline is back with all new episodes every Sunday night at 8 p.m. right here on Disruption Network. The complete rundown of news and notes around Major League Baseball. Get caught up with fantasy rankings, predictions, league leaders, standings, and more. Join JP and SPG as they bring you original segments like 3 Up, 3 Down, the Haps on the Haps, Tip of the Cap, and the Field Report.
Don't find yourself out of the Baseline.
Join the Baseline every Sunday night, all season long, only on the D.
Hey, it's Cassidy, and you're listening to Disruption Network.
So you just bought your dream home, and now it's time to move. Let's face it, nobody likes to move. All the packing, unpacking, lifting, upstairs, downstairs, and broking everything, including your back. Let the professionals at EJA Moving Company take all the stress and pain out of your move. Competitively priced moving, relocation services, office moves, and complete packing and unpacking services. They work with everybody to make it simple and easy for you to move and relocate. Call EJA Moving Company at 315-335-0516. When it's time to relocate, have EJA Moving do all the work for you. Hit them up online, ejamoving.com.
Hey, Disruption Network. This is Mike Sacco, the general manager at Nye Volkswagen of Rome. If you don't know me by name, it's only because you have not received the best deal. There's only one reason to leave Utica, and that's to come see me in Rome and get the best deal on your next new, pre-owned, or certified VW. Mention that you heard this ad from Disruption Network and receive $250 off your next vehicle purchase. You'll know why our customers say, I love my Nye VW. Come see us at 5865 Rome Taberg Road in Rome, or visit us online at nyvwofrome.com.
The Property Sisters of the Mohawk Valley was born when 3 top producing agents with over 25 years of combined experience selling real estate joined forces to take real estate to the next level. We practice with honesty, integrity, and the knowledge to help make the buying and selling process easy and stress-free for all of our clients. We pledge to always make our clients our top priority from start to finish, and even after the house is closed. We will always be a valued resource for information and assistance for our buyers and sellers. Our customers over the years have become not only past clients, but great friends. As we join hands together as the Property Sisters of the Mohawk Valley, we look forward to serving our clients and our community and making a positive difference. You can reach us at 315-601-9630 for all of your real estate needs.
The Disruption Network is making moves. For upcoming events, news, interviews, and new daily programming, keep in the loop with us at DisruptionNetwork.net. Like, follow, and subscribe to all our social media. And check out all our podcasts on iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, and Spotify. Get up on the D, DisruptionNetwork.net.